A question we get a lot is who needs to be on my auto insurance? Do I need to list my kids? I have a mom who lives with us most of the year and then goes down to Florida. So who all needs to be listed on my insurance? So a really good rule of thumb is whether they're licensed to drive and they list the residential address, so your address, as their address. That's just a really great rule of thumb to use to figure out whether somebody is going to be picked up by the insurance carrier or whether they really actually should be listed on your insurance. So for a non-licensed driver who's maybe 14 or 15, kind of taking driver's training, often you don't necessarily need to list them. But as soon as they start to drive your vehicle on a road and they live in your household, you really need to list them on your own policy. The only exception would be if you live with your older parent who has totally different medical insurance than you, and you would like to have them be able to have, for example, they have Medicare and they want to have totally different limits than you, then it'd be okay to list them separately on their own policy for that specific reason. Just make sure you get a copy of their card, because when you're buying your own insurance, the carrier is going to want to know that, yes, they live in the household, you need to disclose that, but they have their own insurance, so we don't need to cover them. So to recap, in general, if somebody is living in your household and is driving a vehicle, one of your vehicles or their own vehicle, you really should list them if they have a driver's license number, especially. If they're away at school and they never drive your vehicle, there is an option to say that they're a student living over 100 miles away. You would still disclose that they exist, but you would just disclose also that they live far away and that they don't often have access to your vehicles, and then that will accordingly change the rate. And then anyone that's older that has possibly different medical insurance, or an older child who has their own medical insurance and wants their own limits, you can go ahead and acknowledge that they exist, acknowledge to the carrier that yes, this person does drive. However, here's a copy of their card, and we don't want to list them as drivers on our policy. Rebecca Behrens, Willow Insurance.